Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio. I am Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. Hess Corporation announced that it has plugged $1.8 billion into the Kaieteur project. The company, which has a 30% stake in Ghana's lucrative Staro block, made its final investment decision, or FDP, for the Kaieteur development offshore Ghana shortly after Ghana gave the green light on Wednesday. The company said that the $1.8 billion figure represents a forecast of its net share of development costs among the three joint venture partners, excluding pre-sanction costs and purchase cost for the Prosperity floating production, storage, and offloading vessel. This, Hess said, is spread out over a few years, approximately $250 million in 2021, $450 million in 2022, $500 million in 2023, and $300 in 2024, with $225 million in 2025. In other news, whether it is Guyana or one of its regional neighbors, ExxonMobil will have to ensure proper compensation for the damage or loss caused by any unmitigated oil spill from the Kaieteur project, which gets underway by 2024. This is one of the key provisions in that the PPPC administration was able to secure during recently concluded negotiations for Kaieteur's environmental permit. This clause was specifically outlined under Section 13 of the permit issued by the EPA. The section, which deals with liability for pollution damage, says that the permit holder shall compensate any party who suffers or loss or damage as a result of the attributed project in accordance with Section 19 of the EPA Act. And moving on, the Georgetown Public Hospital is being proactive in putting all necessary systems in place to effectively respond to the medical needs of citizens while preventing the spread of COVID-19. Director of Medical and Professional Services Dr. Fawcett Jeffrey on Friday said the hospital had mobilized even before COVID-19 to protect the staff and patients from being infected. Interventions have now evolved while developing measures are taking shape. Initially, temporary screening points were set up at all entrances of the hospital. Those are at Lamaha Street, East Street, Newmarket South, and Newmarket North and Middle Street. But two of them are now triage centers housed in permanent structures. And moving on, Vice President Bharat Jagdeo has criticized the former APNU-AFC regime for repeatedly rejecting public health workers' requests for risk allowances. Jagdeo's utterances would appear as hypocritical, however, as the PPPC refuses to commit to those same requests. Jagdeo's comment follows hundreds of nurses and other frontline workers from the Georgetown Public Hospital, the West Demerara Regional Hospital, and Linden Hospital Complex staged protest for better salaries, working conditions, and risk allowances over the past 2 weeks. Still on the Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, he disclosed yesterday that a number of new companies are knocking on the door of the PPPC government to engage in discussions on the exciting prospects of Guyana's oil industry. In contrast, those exploration companies such as CGX Resource Inc., who have been awarded oil blocks but are not performing, will be in for a rude awakening, particularly via rigid performance reviews. Jagdeo said that CGX is one of those companies which would have been in receipt of offshore licenses, but has done little to no work to date. The concerned vice president said that work on CGX's Quarantine and Demerara blocks are long overdue, while adding that it has been 13 years since any work has been done. The vice president also said yesterday that it is wishful thinking to assume that the Kaieteur development permit could have been leveraged to demand a better production sharing agreement from ExxonMobil. In 2016, the 2016 deal, signed for Exxon's operations in the Stabroek Block by former Minister of Natural Resources Raffel Trotman, has been widely condemned for a string of poor provisions, including a paltry 2% royalty. The PPPC has criticized but refuses to renegotiate the deal. And moving on, Leader of the Opposition Joseph Harmon yesterday said that he would gather information held by the coalition on all owners of the Kaieteur and Kanji blocks, which were signed away by the Donald Ramotar administration under questionable circumstances. Harmon said that he has some information on the matter when asked whether he knows of all the beneficial owners. However, he did not want to put out information into the public which was unverified. The coalition should have already been in possession of such information while in government. This is because every time stakes were transferred in the two blocks, the government is responsible for approving the transfer. In this regard, when signing deals, the government has to know the hands the stakes are leaving and the hands to which they will go. Back to the Vice President. He was of strong view that APNU-AFC coalition opposition leader Joseph Harmon is in no position to lecture the governing PPPC administration on its procurement procedures after his regime destroyed an entire system of procurement. Jagdeo blasted Harmon for the comments he made at a press conference, stating that he cannot testify to anything that is proper and legal. Harmon expressed concerns over the recent appointment of Taramchand Balgobin as the NPTAB acting chair. With Balgobin also serving as the Project Cycle Management Division within the Finance Ministry, Harmon claims that his new appointment merges the two divisions and takes away the independence of NPTAB. But according to the Vice President, Harmon should refrain from making such assertions, as he once sat on the NISTIL board when that agency signed away hundreds of acres of lands worth billions of dollars to investors in a deal reeking of illegality. And that brings us to the end of this evening's newscast. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.